Warlords of Draenor, perhaps I treated you too harshly. No. No. See, like, this is the kind of rose-tinted goggles shit that is just simply untrue. This is simply not real, untrue, complete fucking bullshit, a 100% lie. Let me be honest with you guys. World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor, was the worst expansion that we have ever had. There has never been a worst expansion. It's not even close. While yes, the raids were good, the raids have been good every single expansion. It was absolutely bad. Shadowlands, the only reason why you enjoyed WoD more is probably because you maybe had more time to play in 2014 and you maybe only raided. Like, Shadowlands is worse? No, it's not. What did you do in Warlords of Draenor? What did you do? You raided? So you did one raid. You know that Warlords of Draenor had the worst content drought of all time, right? It was even worse than at the end of Mists of Pandaria. You AFK'd in the garrison. Yes, people don't remember how bad it was because they have selective memory. I don't know why. The only reason why people were okay with WoD more than Shadowlands is because WoD was the first time that Blizzard fucked them in the ass. And with Shadowlands, it's the third time, and people don't want to go for a hat trick. That's why. WoD was terrible. The only good thing about WoD was the raids and the leveling. That was the only good thing. And the leveling lasted a day, and the raids were the only thing that you could do. WoD PvP was great. No, man. Like, no, because like that's like, yeah, it was good. It was better than Shadowlands in some ways, but I remember watching clips of like fucking SSDS and like all the other guys like Smexon back then, just like insta deleting people back in WoD 2 with like a fucking Turbo Cleave, the Enhancement Shaman Arms Warrior. Like, people would still go 100-0 in like a second. It was awful. Like, people don't remember this. Gladiator PvP, yeah. Like, it's just challenge modes. Challenge modes were so bad in Warlords of Draenor. They were so much worse than they were in, what do you call it? In Mists of Pandaria. It's crazy. DK Smoke Bomb. I don't even remember that one, honestly. Gladiator Stance. Yeah, Gladiator Stance was terrible. Nobody played it ever. Like, nobody ever did Gladiator Stance. Like, there were no logs for it. It was the least played thing. Here's the thing, guys, is that I can guarantee you that I played WoD probably more than a lot of you. And I remember it better than pretty much everybody. People have very selective memory because they just want to hate on the current thing and say that the old thing wasn't as bad. Warlords of Draenor was the biggest disappointment of an expansion that Blizzard has ever had. It's like, here, let me give you a comparison. Shadowlands at least finished. Imagine if Warlords of Draenor was as bad as Shadowlands, the new raid that just came out wouldn't even be out. Because they would have just not done it. We'd still be sitting in Sanctum of Domination for another 8 months. Do you understand? Like, it was so fucking bad. It was just so fucking bad. Both had the same ending? Yeah, they kind of did. And people conflate the state of their life with the state of the game, unironically. Besides its questing and 5-mans, these were good. The 5-mans, there was no reason to ever do the 5-mans, though. That's what I'm saying, is like the challenge modes invalidated themselves the moment that Highmaul came out. So, like, if you're going to say the 5-mans were good, what are you talking about? The first month of the game? What about besides that? What about the next 2 years? It was terrible. Poll it? Asmon's so wrong on this one? No, I'm not. I'm not wrong at all. Do you know how bad Warlords of Draenor was? It caused me to start streaming. Warlords of Draenor caused me to start streaming. Because playing in the garrison and fucking around with McConnell was so fucking boring that I was like, I need to do this with other people because I literally have nothing else to do. Poll it? For what? What? There's, like, we're arguing objective facts here. Like, it is objectively a fact that Shadowlands had infinitely more content for a max level player to do it at the end game than Warlords of Draenor did. It had more raids. I would say that the raids in Shadowlands and the raids in WoD are equivalent. I don't think the raids have just gotten better or have just gotten worse. I think the raids in WoD were great, but I also think the Shadowlands raids were pretty good too. WoD barely had, WoD had no content. Like, you guys just completely don't remember anything. Like, WoD had literally zero fucking content besides doing the raid. So yes, if all you like to do was raid, if that's the only thing that you would ever do was raid, or you would only do competitive PvP, then I will agree with you that Warlords of Draenor was a better expansion for you. Like, for example, if you were a world first raider, WoD was probably a better experience. If you were a competitive PvPer at, like, you know, you would go over 2K, etc., WoD was probably a better experience for you. Absolutely. However, those people are like 5%, 10% of the player base. The other 90% of the player base was left completely high and dry by WoD. There were only 3 raids in the entire course of the expansion. Reddit agrees with Asmon. Let me look and see what Reddit says. Former Quad, thank you much for the 5 subs. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Poll it then? Well, why would I poll it? I know I'm right. If everybody disagrees with me, that doesn't make me wrong. That just makes a lot of other people wrong. Well, why would I poll it? I know I'm right. Yeah, I know I'm right. Now you know how WoW fans feel about Star Wars. I missed the prequels. Mamgor with the 5 gift the community subs. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The prequels, again, I missed the prequels too. But you know what I also really miss? Having my mom take me to Toys R Us and buying me the little drone set that I had whenever I was 9 years old. Like, that's the main thing that I missed with the prequels, man. Prequels are better. In my opinion, I would say that this is not counting Rogue One. Rogue One, I think, was an A-tier Star Wars movie. I really liked it. I thought it was well designed. I actually feel like Star Wars, like, they could have made, I don't know, like, I'd have to, like, really go back and watch, like, all of them over again. I feel like a lot of the really, really key points were actually good. In a way, I actually agreed, you know, like, I liked Kylo Ren's character a lot. And I thought he was actually a good character. But there were a lot of, like, weird things that happened that were just stupid. And yeah, they did him dirty. Yeah, I did. Adam Driver, yeah, I thought, yeah, he's a great actor. I really like him a lot. You have to watch Mandalorian. I haven't seen it. I haven't watched Mandalorian. Watched the Kenobi trailer? I did. I watched it off stream a day or two ago. He was written badly. I think that, I think the problem with having a character like Kylo Ren is that you need a TV series amount of time to develop a character like that and make it feel fulfilling whenever the character has its shift in personality or it has its change in its behavior. It's kind of like, let me think of an example, like Jaime Lannister. Like, you can't really have a character like Jaime Lannister in a movie. It just probably doesn't work that way. Or Arthas, or I'm trying to think, like Illidan. Like, you can't have a character like that in such a short period of time make that drastic of a shift. And that's why you see a lot of, you know, big actors now moving towards doing TV shows instead, because they allow them to tell a more nuanced story than a movie. They ruined Jaime. I think Jaime should have killed Cersei, and everything else should have happened pretty much the same way. I think he should have killed her because that was the prophecy. That's what made sense. Yeah, I think he should have killed her. And 100% ruined character. Yeah, like, in my opinion, like, my best outcome for them, Jaime kills Cersei, they go back, Jaime allows Tyrion to be the Lord of Casterly Rock, because fuck Tywin, and then Jaime goes out, and he's still the Kingsguard, and he does what he always used to do. Like, that would be, in my opinion, the best story. Because, like, and like, maybe that's just because I thought Cersei was a bitch, but, I mean, I didn't think she was a bitch. I mean, let's be honest, she was. So that's what I would like to skip so much character development that was in the books. Yeah, and, like, that's just what has to happen, right? And that's what I said with the movies, too. Let's go back down, we'll read a few more of these. Shadowlands legit is one of the worst games I've ever played, and definitely the worst WoW expansion, especially story-wise. You don't remember and you don't understand. The stories, the small stories in Warlords of Draenor, like, for example, the Frostfire Ridge storyline for the Horde was an S-tier storyline, and it was the first time that Blizzard actually put in-game cinematics into quest lines. Like, they were S-tier. But the story for Warlords of Draenor was as bad as Shadowlands. Like, I would say it's as bad as Shadowlands. I think that the only way that you could say, and actually I would say that they are as bad as each other, because Warlords of Draenor introduced time travel, which I always think is Pandora's box for any story. And on top of that, it also, yeah, it was just, yeah, but Lamau Draenor is free? Yeah, you guys don't remember, like, back whenever, let me see here, WoD, Archimond, cinematic. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, dude, people were furious about this. They were fucking furious about this shit. Because Grom, who, and like, I even defended this whenever it happens, because I was like, listen, it's, you know, they're just trying to move forward, and they can't, you know, you can't move forward if they're constantly at war, so it, like, kind of had to happen, even though it shouldn't have happened in a way. The fact is that, like, this thing, like, this storyline made so many people mad. People were fucking furious about this. How can it have, if it has 0 dislikes, how can it be bad? Yeah, that's true too. I was planning to tripped on something, Archimond. Yeah, it was just such a stupid fucking storyline, man. I really hated it. And so, yeah, the WoD storyline was garbage. That's all I'm really trying to say. WoD was awful, but at least classes were fun to play. I also made so much gold off garrisons I could pay for my sub in 3 years. Is this an unpopular opinion? I have more fun playing my class in Shadowlands than I did in WoD. I enjoy playing my warrior more in Shadowlands than I currently, I enjoy playing it more currently in Shadowlands than I did in Warlords of Draenor. I do. I think that I think it's better. No, Shadowlands bad. No, Shadowlands is bad, but that's not why. No, fuck that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. WoD was terrible. Mop was at least a decent uptick from Cat. I remember when Thrall dishonored himself by killing Garrosh in single combat by using magic and weapons instead of just one. Remember whenever we had to log in for Facebook game, which was all the content we had each week? Remember all the bullshit we had to go through? Shadowlands is the exact same as WoD, except one has time-gated bullshit instead of Facebook non-content bullshit. It was a literal cock, man. It was a literal fucking cock, and people seem to not remember that. It's very disappointing to me, because, like, back then, I feel like a lot of people just don't remember. I think that's really all it comes down to. They just simply don't remember. Yeah, that's base. Yeah, at least I had fun in WoD PvP. BFA and Shadowlands never did it for me. I guarantee you, if they made a WoD private server, people would probably not play it. People would probably not play the PvP on the WoD private server, because I think that it's just worse. People don't remember how fucking stupid it was. Like, if you think that, like, oh, the game wasn't bad, the game isn't balanced now, it wasn't balanced then either. Like, basically, let me explain to you, like, this is what happens. Every single patch, people think PvP, it can't get worse than this. This is as low as it's gonna go. This is as bad as it's gonna get. And then you know what happens? The next patch comes out. And guess what? Yeah, guess what? Condescending for your claim our opinions are false because they can't remember as well as you? Well, no, it's not condescending. I'm just right. Yeah, I'm right. I remember more about the game than almost anybody else does. I played the whole thing through. I was a Mythic Raider with top parses. I probably have more credibility of talking about it than anybody else. Like, I'm not saying some, like, and you can take that to the bank. Just go look at the logs. Yeah, that's why I made my videos. That's what it was. He said condescending. Well, condescending would imply that I'm being wrong. I'm not wrong. Let me see here. Started in WoD 2 months ago was fucking great, considering that patch was live in the last 2 months or so. Yeah, exactly. At the very end. I think that's the way it is for everybody. That's why you think it was great. You haven't